And the very thing that you don't want to happen ends up happening. So you have to take the time out and spend time with people. And part of building a rapport is becoming comfortable enough to be you around people. There's certain levels of intimacy, and I'm not talking about physical intimacy. I'm talking about relational, the way you connect with people, the way you build with them. There's certain levels of intimacy that you have with different people. An acquaintance, a person that you might see here and there, doesn't have the same level of intimacy as someone you label as a best friend. Or a casual connection doesn't have the same intimacy as someone you consider a wife, if not your wife. And so there are different levels of intimacy. And when you don't do things in a healthy way, you break up the ability for someone to accept you, and they cast judgment. Timing is everything. You can have a goal or a desire to be close to someone, and you want to share different parts of you, and it's okay. Or you might not have a desire. You might be scared to share different parts of yourself. That don't mean once you meet them or connect with them, you just share everything. No, you build a rapport, and then as time permits it and your comfortability is established, then you start revealing things. Because we as humans, we're judgmental. As much as we hate to admit it, we judge ourselves, we judge each other, we judge situations. And when things are not done with healthy rapports and good timing, we're more likely to cast judgment. And so to save yourself when building relationships with people and having the desire to be close to others, you have to build a rapport. You have to. You might say, I don't have time. But if you have the desire to be in loving relationships, you have to make time to build a rapport. You have to. And then when you build rapports, you label people accordingly. An acquaintance is not a friend. A friend is not someone you're romantically dealing with. Someone you're romantically dealing with is not the same as having a loving relationship with exclusively one person. And casual connections that you build are different than long-term loving connections. They're totally different. And so you are responsible to a certain degree on how people judge you based on what you share and when you share it. You shouldn't share everything with everybody. Because at the end of the day, as much as people say they love people, they love God, they understand how to unconditionally love people, we are judgmental. We're imperfect. And because of our imperfections, we not only judge ourselves, but we also judge each other. And some judgments are necessary to label. And then some judgments are crippling. But to avoid some judgments, you have to build a rapport. And there's no cookie cut system to building a rapport. It does require time. It's not a set duration. It depends on the connection. Some people you could build a rapport with and you could spend time with every day. And y'all could establish a level of closeness in 6 months that you couldn't establish a closeness with someone that you knew for 2, 3, 4 years. So that's why I say it's not cookie cut. And it's individually based. Because everybody that you connect with or build with is not going to be your friend. And so realizing everybody is not your friend, you're not going to share everything with everybody. And to avoid some of the judgments that you place with yourself, you have to have self-acceptance. You have to accept the frailty parts of you, the imperfected parts of you, to the point that you become comfortable with it, that it doesn't dominate your need to connect with people, and you move and operate out of insecurities instead of confidence. It's frail parts of everyone. And so the more you become acquainted with yourself and you have a self-acceptance, okay, this is a weak part of me. This is not a strong part of me. This is an imperfection. And you label as such, and then you say after that, you love yourself even after that. It invites, just because of the laws of attraction, it invites people to love you even after seeing different parts of you. No man or woman was built to be on an island by themselves. People that have loving relationships, whether it's friendships or intimate romantic relationships, they live longer because you establish the ability to step out of yourself and connect with someone else and love them. It's awesome to love yourself, and it's even awesome to love someone else. But you have to build a rapport. You could sit down with someone and they could be everything that you're looking for, and you could be everything that they're looking for, but you still have to build a rapport. Because after you find out they everything you're looking for and you're everything they're looking for, there's still imperfections that have to be seen. Because at the end of the day, there is no one perfect. And so you feeling that they're the person you're looking for, it gets tried, because once you see their imperfections, you question, do I really want to be with this person? And then you start really seeing how much you know about love. Because love is unconditional. So regardless what you see, you should be able to stand in love and love that person. That's if you at the point of loving them. And so you really get to see if you really know what love is. And if you really love that person. Because everybody has an ugly side. Everybody has a side where their imperfections are shown. And you might look at some people that you have built a rapport with, and you like, that person not being real, that person not keeping it 100. Well, maybe, just maybe, in y'all connection, y'all haven't built a rapport enough for them to show you who they really are. And that's fair. Everybody has that option to show each person that they interact with, they connect with, who they really are. And some people you might encounter, it's just not safe to share who you really are to them. Building a rapport is key. And you have to be able to distinguish information from intimacy. You can see someone in your neighborhood every day and have a conversation with them. That does not mean you know them. And I gotta repeat that. You can have a person in your neighborhood that you see every day and you have a conversation with. That does not mean you know them. Y'all have exchanged information, but that doesn't mean you intimately know that person. Because knowing people takes time, dwelling with them, understanding them, connecting with them, building a rapport. You can meet someone online and you can fill out a profile that appeals to them, and their profile appeals to you. And then y'all can sit down and say, all right, let's start dating, because we have what each other want. And then you move in the direction of dating, and then you say, all right, let's get engaged, then let's get married, and you fast track it. But then after the wedding day, and you sitting across from each other in the living room in your house together, you realize you really don't know them. And it's your responsibility, not theirs, your responsibility to build a rapport. You have to manage your own emotions enough to say, even when it feels right, I still want to get to know you. Even when the connection feels so unreal, I still want to get to know you. This prevents people from using you. This prevents people from abusing you. You have to get to know people, because there's certain red flags that come up. And toxic people. And they could look like everything you want physically. And you can't confuse what you want versus what you need. You might want an attractive person, but you might not need the most attractive person. It depends on you, your frailties, your insecurities, how comfortable you are with yourself, how comfortable you are with them. Everything is not for everybody. Everyone is not for everybody.